Welcome back to Astrology and Asana, where we look at what's kind of going on in the sky and help ourselves by incorporating movement, asana poses to help us process those transits in a way that's going to be loving and kind for others. So today we're looking at Venus square Uranus. Venus square Uranus likes to bring kind of like sudden disruptions to Venus things, uprooting what we normally have as Venus type things, so aesthetics, relationships, friendships, sexual life, bringing something new in, taking out that old, saying this isn't working anymore, and driving on with the new. So bringing in fluid creativity, bringing in sporadic changes to the way we dress, to the way we look, maybe even to the way we act, or even bringing in new friendships that we wouldn't otherwise think we would have. Also in our sex life, maybe bringing in new and experimental things. That's not rare for Venus and Uranus configurations. So today I figured that in our asana flow we could create sort of like a dynamic, fun, free-flowing, even a little bit more rawr into it. A little more primal movements than we normally would see in our everyday flow. So if you're down with that, let's join at the top of the mat. We're going to have our big toes touching here at the top of the mat. Lift the knees up, but don't lock out the legs. Ground the tailbone down towards the earth like we're really rooting down nice and strong like a mountain. Inhale the shoulders up towards the ears and then exhale them back down the spine. Do that 2 times, inhaling and exhaling, really making the movement exaggerated. Even puff up the heart on that exhale, allowing the chest to move forward. Do it a couple more times, really bringing that movement deep into the shoulders. And then allowing the shoulders just to move away from the ears here. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. And then we inhale the hands overhead. Exhale, reach over to the left side. We can clasp the fingers, all but the index finger. Let the index finger maintain its way out. And then inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right side this time. Reaching with those fingers. And then inhaling back to center. Doing that a couple more times with your breath. Inhaling up and out of the shoulders and then exhaling, allowing yourself to drop over to the left side. And then on your inhale, rising back to center, up and out of the shoulders, and exhaling, allowing yourself to drop over to the right side. Back to center one more time. Make the movement nice and fluid here. Moving with that breath, finding that union of body and breath. And when you come back to center, releasing the hands down. Now let's do a standing cat-cow. So we're going to inhale the heart up, tuck the butt back behind you, really arching the spine back. And then exhale, allowing the spine to release, folding in, maybe even hugging yourself. Inhale, heart up, butt back. You can even grab the hips, pull the heart between the shoulders, and exhale, maybe hugging yourself, allowing everything to just roll in. Good job. Inhale, arms up. Maybe clasping the hands with a twist, twisting the arms and clasping the hands, and then trying on the other side, looking up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, dive over the thighs. Allow yourself to release down. Go ahead and take a bend to the knees. Really getting that belly-thigh contact here. And then just droop the head down towards the earth. Allow it to drip. Allow everything to release. The shoulders release. The neck releases. And then maybe swing side to side. Allowing your body to move in whichever way it says, hey, I want to move. Maybe it doesn't even want to move. Maybe you want to come to some stillness. And that's okay too. Maybe you're always moving, so the change for you is stillness. Or maybe you're always still, so the change for you, or that sudden disruption, That sudden movement is actually movement itself. Uranus likes to bring those sudden disruptions, likes to shake up that norm. And inhale, halfway lift, straighten the legs, bring the fingertips to the shin. Allow the spine to become nice and flat here so the crown of the head reaches forward and the tailbone reaches back. Pull the low belly in and up. This is going to create more space in the pelvis here. And then exhale, allow the spine to arch, fold in, maybe even pull on the calf muscles, allowing yourself to come in a little deeper. Inhale, exaggerate that movement up for a halfway lift. Exhale, pull yourself in, really fluid here. Inhale, really exaggerated, allowing the spine to start to undulate. That's what we're really looking for here. We're really undulating up and down. Folding in towards ourselves, and then moving away from ourselves. Moving with breath. Remember to keep that breath fluid in and out of the nostrils. Last time, really exaggerate it this time. Make it feel super sexy. Make it feel super crazy. And then exhale the hands down to the mat. Step back to a high plank. Shoulders are directly over the wrists. Heels are reaching back. Core is pulling in nice and strong here. Exhale, shift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. We're going to do those same undulations with the spine as we were in our halfway lift and forward fold. This time we're going to start to inhale, lift up the heels, come to tiptoes, shift the weight over the wrists. So now we have our wrists and shoulders directly in alignment. Our butt is kind of up and we're up on our tiptoes still. On exhale, we're going to arch our back down. So we're like we're going to move our heart down towards the ground and our butt up towards the sky. And instead we're going to push ourselves back, allowing the spine to undulate, moving the chin into the chest. So inhale, shift the weight over the shoulders. Exhale as though you're going to get your heart down towards the ground and the butt up towards the sky. Start to push yourself back, heart and chin meet. Do that with your own breaths. Inhaling, allowing yourself to roll forward into high plank. Exhale, shifting your weight all the way back. Chest meets the chin. Last thing. Inhale, round forward, look forward. Exhale, move back, downward facing dog. Really move slowly with this. Let it feel really good. Let it feel like your spine is just rolling out. Like waves coming in and then moving back out. Waves moving in towards you, maybe touching your toes, and then moving back away from you, coming back into the earth. 2 more times like this. The spine should be feeling nice and warm by now. Last time. The shoulders are probably feeling warm by now. Then come to center. Come to some stillness here in your down dog, or not. Maybe bend the left knee, bend the right knee. Allow the hips to move side to side. Get sort of crazy here. I like to think of it as like a feral down dog. You're just moving and allowing yourself to move into the spine, into the side body. Let those hips get really wild. Let them move freely. Press into the earth with the hands. And if at any point you need to take a deeper rest, go ahead and drop down to your knees. Sit the hips on the knees and rest the third eye on the ground for child's pose. Otherwise, just keep moving into the left foot and the right foot, the left hip, right hip, bringing it up into the top of the spine, maybe rolling it out, rolling the shoulders up and down, finding your freedom of expression here in your downward facing dog. You know, you're probably at home doing this, so nobody's watching. It's sort of a dance like nobody's watching kind of movement here. And then come to stillness. Allow the head to drip down towards the ground. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, foot in between the hands. Rise up for high lunge. Here in high lunge, pull that left hip forward, right hip back. Sink the hips down. Check in with the right knee. Is it directly over the ankle? Inhale, arms up. Cactus the arms out. So we're going to inhale the arms up overhead and then cactus them out. And then exhale, straighten the right leg and fold over the right thigh, bringing the hands down to the earth. So then we're going to do this movement a few times. So inhale, we're bending the knee, arms up and then out, puffing the heart up towards the sky. Exhale, straighten the leg, fold over the thigh, and hands come to the earth. Inhale, bend the knee, arms up, cactus those arms out, puff the heart up towards the sky. Exhale, surrender over the right leg as you straighten it and bring the hands down to the mat. That's 3 times, so we'll do it 2 more. Inhale, bending the knee, high lunge, cactus arms, heart puffed. Exhale, straighten the leg, forward fold, surrender. 1 more time. Thighs should be feeling it by now. Inhale, arms up, cactus the arms, puff, scoop the heart up towards the sky, and then exhale, straighten the leg, fold over that right leg. Press into the mat firmly, lifting up the right foot, bringing it back behind you for 3-legged down dog. Exhale, start to shift your weight over the shoulders, 3-legged high plank. And then exhale, if you have it in you, 3-legged chaturanga, bending the elbows back, coming to a halfway plank. And then release the top of the right foot to the mat, left of the top of the foot to the mat. Straighten the elbows, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Check in with yourself, make sure you're still breathing. Make sure the breath is moving fluidly in and out through the nostrils. Move those hips high, and then find your freedom of expression again. I think that oftentimes when Venus meets Uranus in some sort of an aspect, Venus just wants to be free. She wants to move the way she wants to move. She wants to love the way she wants to love. She wants to make it radical. You know, that's Uranus kicking in, that radical freedom of expression. Find your stillness. Inhale, left foot high. And exhale, in between the hands. Rising up on inhale, hands up. Cactus the arms. Scoop the heart up. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Surrender over the thigh. Inhale, bending the left knee. Arms up. Cactus arms. Lift that heart as high as you can. Pull everything down, but the heart, let the heart rise up. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Dive over that thigh. Release everything. Inhale, rising back up, high lunge with cactus arms. And exhale, straightening the left leg. 2 more after this. Inhale, bending the knee. Sink those hips down as you cactus your heart up, 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 up towards the sky. Exhale, straighten that left leg. Dive forward. Last time, inhale, hands high, and then cactus. Just open it like you're breaking free. We're breaking free here. And exhale, straighten that left leg. Surrender over the thigh. 1 breath. And then press into the mat firmly. Lift up the left foot and bring it up and back behind you. 3-legged down dog. Shift the weight over the wrists here. Exhale, bend the elbows back. 3-legged chaturanga. Bring the left top of the foot down, right top of the foot down. Straighten the arms. Upward facing dog. Stay here in your upward facing dog just for 2 breaths. Maybe even roll over the toes and then back onto the tops of the feet. Make sure you're not feeling any pinching in the low spine. To do that, move the shoulders back as you pull your heart forward. And then exhale over the tops of the toes, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Start to move, find that movement again. Shake the head side to side. Roll the shoulders. And then prepare for some more undulations of the spine. So inhale, shifting the weight forward, high plank. Exhale, start to move the hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, really bring exaggerated movement into the spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. Moving with your own breath 2 more times. Downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Shift those hips up and back. Moving like the waves themselves. Moving back and forth. Come to some stillness here. And drop to the knees. Tabletop position. Shoulders are directly over the elbows. Knees are directly under the hips. Check in with the toes. They're pointing straight back here. The fingertips are pointing straight forward. And then inhale. Allow the hips to lift up. Allow the head to lift up. Cow pose. Stay here on the exhale. And then one more inhale, dragging the hands back towards the knees. They're not really moving, but that's going to move the heart forward. And then exhale, arching the spine up towards the sky, dropping the head, pulling the stomach in towards the spine. Staying for the inhale. And then exhale, just making it a little more exaggerated here. Inhale back to center. This time, looking out over the left shoulder and squeezing the left side body so that we can lengthen that right side body. Take a big exhale here. Let it out through the mouth. Inhale back to center. Exhale, squeeze that right side body in towards one another. Look over the right shoulder. Straighten out the left side body. And exhale. Inhale back to center. We're going to do that with our own breath. So inhaling on center. Exhaling, squeezing the left side body. Very vocal here. Make that exhale loud. Almost like a roar. Moving over to the other side. 2 more times on each side. Remember to let that exhale out. Let yourself be expressed freely. We're having no inhibitions here. One more time on each side. Really lengthen out the side body. Create space. And then back to center. Start to walk your hands out. Keep your hips right where they're at. Just start to walk your hands out and then lower the heart down towards the earth. Puppy pose here. Let the heart sink down, open the throat, bringing the chin to the top of the mat. If that's too difficult, go ahead and bring the third eye to the top of the mat. Maybe you even want to grab some blocks and place the hands on blocks, allowing the chest to open even further. Check in with the hips, push against the hands to keep those hips directly over the knees. And if you would like to take this just a little bit further, we can release the hands, bend the knees so that the heels start to reach towards the butt, and then reach back for the right ankle, and then the left, and pull the heels in towards the hips. And then release. Pressing into the mat, pushing yourself back up into a tabletop position here. Straighten that right leg back behind you and push the left hand out in front of you. Lift up on that right leg, engaging the glute, bend the right knee, and reach back on the inside of the right foot with the left hand. Kick that foot and hand into one another. Pull on the foot, kick into the hand, lift the heart high here. Nice stability, because even in the midst of uprooting, even in the midst of change, we still want stability. Releasing the knee down. It's nice and slow. Grounding into the left hand. kick that left foot back behind you. Straighten the right arm out in front of you. Bend the left knee as you lift the foot a little higher. And reach back on the inside of that left foot with the right hand. And kick, simultaneously pulling on the foot. Lift the heart, lift it a little higher. Steady yourself, steady your gaze, steady your balance. One more breath, and then exhaling, releasing all of it down. Toes to touch, knees are wide here. Go ahead and release the butt down towards the knees and reach the arms out in front of you so that your third eye comes in contact with the earth here. Just one breath, lengthening the spine out. And then start to walk back up until you're sitting on your shins. We're going to try for a frog pose. Really great hip opener here. Really intense. If it becomes too much, just come back into child's pose. What we want to do is we want to start to walk our knees off of our mat. Flex the toes. This is really important. Flex the toes and make sure the ankle stays in alignment with the knee. And just start to lower the pelvis down towards the earth. Keep pushing back. The tendency here is to come forward. We don't want that. We want to see ourselves pushing back. This is going to lengthen those inner thighs here. In this pose, we can get pretty crazy. If we really want to get a little Venus, Uranus-y, we can do a little bounce, give a little butt bounce here. This is great twerking practice if you're looking for twerking practice. That's sort of Venus, Uranus too, so. Or you can just sink into the pose. You can bounce, or you can just sink. But keep that motion of pushing the hips back. Keep checking in with the ankles and the heels. Are the feet flexed? We want to protect ourselves more than anything. Venus and Uranus can get a little reckless, and we can sometimes forget about protection. But that's sort of the goal here with this Asana and Astrology is I want us to be able to move through these dynamics that are happening in the sky that have some effect on us here in a safe way, in a loving way, in a more kind and aware way. So when you feel like getting really reckless, remember there's precautions put in place for a reason. You know, we have our knees and our ankles and our feet in alignment for a reason. We only have this one body. Let's take care of it. All right, I'm sure you've had enough of this. So to release, just start to walk your arms out, allowing yourself to go forward. Lift the feet up off the mat, roll over onto the knees, and then the thighs should hit the ground. You can maybe touch the toes here together. Just playing around, letting your body readjust, and then maybe walking the inner thighs together. Just coming into a nice straight leg cobra position. Try to get the big toes to touch. If that's too much for you, go ahead and lengthen out that stance a little bit. Bring the shoulders and the hands directly in alignment. Press into the hip points. Press all 10 toes into the earth. And then inhale, lift the heart up here. Don't press into the mat quite yet. So lift the hands out, maybe like a Celine Dion figure here on the Titanic, shooting the arms out back behind you. Your heart's moving forward and you just feel so in love. And then releasing the hands down to the mat, maybe placing the right cheek against the earth. Keep the hands directly under your shoulders. We're not done here. One exhale. We can even really make it vocal, releasing whatever may have come up. Bring the chin back to the mat. Press the toes into the earth, lift the knees, press the hip points into the earth, and inhale the heart up, high as you can go, and then start to press into the hands. As you press into the hands, drag them energetically back towards the hip points. This is going to move your heart forward. Keep a bend in the elbows. We want to feel this in our upper spine, not our lower spine. We don't want to just dump into our low back. That's going to cause some pinching. It's going to cause some pain eventually, and we really want to keep ourselves safe. So exhale, we're going to remember all of that movement, this time bringing our fingertips off the mat and staying high on fingertips. Elbows are reaching up towards the sky. Inhale, press into the fingertips and allow yourself to roll up. Press the toenails against the earth. Pull the heart between the shoulders. Exhale, release all the way back down. Inhale, roll up. Just like we were undulating from plank to down dog, we are now undulating into cobra. Releasing on exhale, inhale. Head is the last thing to raise, roll up. Strong fingertips, pulling the heart forward. Exhale, release. 3 more times. Really moving at your own pace, allowing yourself to be fluid here, allowing yourself to explore. Maybe moving differently than you have in your practice before. Come back to breath. Remember to breathe through it. Last time. And this time just hold at the top. Make sure those toenails are pressing into the earth. Is the heart moving forward? And exhale, release left side cheek to the mat. You can place your hands wherever is comfortable, maybe back beside you. Allowing yourself to sigh a good sigh, like that was a really good ride. And then come back up onto the knees, pressing down. Tuck the toes underneath you as you sit on the heels. Check in with that pinky toe, make sure it hasn't escaped. Pinky toes like to run away from this pose. And just sit here for a moment. You may want to close your eyes. Bring your awareness into your breath. Bring your awareness into the movements we just made. The space that it's created. A space to express yourself freely. The mat is always a safe place for that. A safe place to safely express yourself freely. We don't want to hurt ourselves. We still want to stay in that alignment of boundaries for our body so that we can stay safe. But we don't want to feel so inhibited that we can't move a little bit more fairly or primal than we normally do. Release the toes, come back to tabletop, maybe tap the toes against the earth a little. You probably don't have to do it as violent as that, but you can tap them. And then let's make our way down to our backs. We're going to set up for Savasana here, making your way down in whichever way is comfortable for you today. You can take a legs against the wall stance. If you want to do that, you get your hips as close to the wall as you can. You're in kind of this sideways position. Start to move your body towards center and shift your hips so that your feet start to come up the wall. This is a really great restoration pose. Maybe you want to open out the hips, so against the wall you can do this. If you don't have a wall, then you can do this just on the mat, placing the insoles of the feet together, allowing the knees to open up. A Baddha Konasana resting position. If your legs are against the wall, you have another option where you can just open the thighs out, allowing those inner thighs to stretch. Gravity just pulls against the leg. Nice wide legs up against the wall. We have options to really express freedom in ourselves, in our bodies, on our mats, and off of our mats. But we want to come to those options with awareness of the effects that it's going to have on our bodies, on other people, on our intellect, our spirit. Sometimes a radical change seems like the best thing around. You know, it's that green, grass is always greener on the other side sort of mindset. And then we get there and we realize that it's not necessarily greener. We just like that feeling of fresh. We just like that new feeling. And sometimes even we realize, and we walk far enough on the other side of that fence, and we realize the grass certainly is yellower or deader on this other side. And then we have to face those consequences of the choices we made in a rush, in a hurry to reinnovate or reinvent ourselves. Uranus likes to reinvent. And when we think of Venus or Venusian type things, we think, what are we reinventing? What are we trying to run into or rush into? Which field of grass is it that's looking greener? Venusian things are, again, like I said in the beginning, appearances, friendships, relationships, creativity, art, sometimes even food. It can be as basic as food. Venus loves good food. Are we going to try something really crazy out of our scope of normal everyday life? And it's okay to do so. Let's just do so with awareness, allowing ourselves to measure what we might face later on down the road. You can stay here in Savasana for as long as you would like, and when you're ready to come out, if you've taken the wide leg position, just make sure you're pressing against the legs with your hands, really helping them come together. When you stay in that pose for a long period of time, it can be quite difficult on the joints to just reach them back up on their own. I thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope you move through this transit with fluidity, love, and kindness, and peace towards others. Namaste.